We had an opportunity to go to Chicago for a freelancing panel at Sarofsky Studio, part of their Sarofsky Labs series. A group of motion designers from all over came to listen to Erin Sarofsky, Duarte Elvas, Lyndsay McCully, and this guy talk about the ins and outs of freelancing. In part one of this series, we got into a discussion about the merits of interning, going staff, or taking the freelance route.
How many of you guys are freelancers? Yeah. How many are full-time thinking about freelancing? Okay. About half and half.
That's cool.
That's really great.
Ready to quit their jobs tonight.
He's freelancing.
Yeah. So we wanted the format of this to be, not just a lecture and us talking here amongst ourselves, but really have you guys involved. So feel free to interrupt, just like raise your hand, and if you have a question at any point. And and we may call some of you out that we know. Because we just want to discuss the topics, and as Erin was saying, it's a learning experience for us too. This, it's obviously not networking opportunity for everybody, and it is a discussion. We want to learn also from the freelancers. So,
Freelancers.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, so our first topic is full-time versus freelance versus internships. So I think one important thing that our studio does is we have a clear distinction for what an intern is. An intern is somebody that is going back to school. So this is a part of their education experience. As soon as you are out of school, and this doesn't mean secondary education, but as soon as you have graduated, you are now a freelancer or a junior artist or junior animator or something like that. And so we might not pay you very much because we're going to be teaching you, but you are definitely no longer an intern. So that's
And there's still mentorship involved, and the expectations aren't, No, we don't have like super high expectations from somebody straight out of school. But we will push, and you will be integrated in our workflow as best as we can.
So first things, where are you at in your career? Lyndsay?
Where am I at in my career?
Well, you're a freelancer.
I am a freelancer.
But like, how do you when you're thinking about moving on to freelance, we think you have to identify where you're at in your career.
Well, I think so. I did read Joey's book, and it helped me determine my goal. And that's, that was a very deciding factor for me to where it's like, okay, what kind of life do I really want out of this? I really love working to not work. And is that horrible? Is that horrible? I don't know. No, I really love the freedom of getting to choose who I work with and when. And I'm just kind of in my honeymoon phase still now, as you said, Joey. Yeah. I'm just really enjoying the life of, I'll take that job. No, I won't take that job. Not to sound kind of like a punk, but I've been able to work at new offices and gain new relationships and work on the kinds of things I want to, and it's just really an amazing thing. And then, and if you're lucky, you find those clients that you grab a hold of and you never let go.
There is like the obvious question of, am I ready to freelance or have enough experience? And I always tell students, you're not ready to freelance. Like there are unicorns out there that can go right from being a student at an art school and boom, right into freelancing. That's super rare. If you're really early, you need to get experience, and you need to sort of get a sense for the speed that a professional job moves at, things like that. But what Lyndsay was talking about is actually, I think, in the long run, a much more important question, which is, how do you want your life to be? And I find that like a lot of people, especially if you're really ambitious, that you just want to keep progressing and getting to the next stage, whatever that is. And unless you take a moment to sort of say like, well, what do I actually want my life to look like? What do I want my day to feel like? Where do I want to live? What kind of work do I want to be doing? It's easy to forget all that stuff. And if you just take a minute and you sort of focus on that, then you might decide that like the perfect thing to do is to go take a full-time job at Google right now or something like that. Or it might be to freelance and try to do it remotely from Vietnam, which I know someone doing that. So like, but you're not going to just like make a leap there until you figure out first, like, okay, I want to wake up and it be this warm outside. I want to wake up and I want to wake up at this time, right? I want to wake up at 10 a.m. I want to, you know, hashtag work not to work or something like that, you know? Maybe you start a family and that doesn't really work anymore, right? And then maybe the priorities shift and now like, I just don't want to have that like weight hanging over me all the time. Am I going to get work? Right? That's something you get used to as a freelancer, but you could also just kind of like put that weight down for a little while, you know? And sometimes that's right though.
The mentorship is a huge thing too. I think same thing when somebody's in school, I'm like, the best thing you could do when you get out of school is find some place that's going to care about you and that your success is their success.
It's really important, even relationships with freelancers that come through the studio and people that when you do make the leap into freelancing will recommend you because they've worked with you in the past. So I know for me that was a thing when I was working full-time back home. The people that I met at my full-time job were actually the ones that, you know, gave me freelance gigs after. So
yeah, you know, that's my story because I was. Like I said, I was full-time for 14 years, and I gained all these relationships. I went nose first into the community, and hell, I started a meetup because why not, you know? And that is because I was, you know, so I had that advantage that I kind of created for myself. I made these relationships, I made these friends, and now half my work is because someone dropped my name, you know? Like I have a girl, you know? So it's like with the work, trust comes first. You got to build that trust, as your book said as well, and that's what creates those relationships, and so that's the success right there.
I think it also builds confidence. Like, so the first time I freelanced, I had only been working 2.5 years in the industry, and even that's not a very long time. Like you definitely be there, but you know, but even just having done something that I was paid to do, it like gives you this confidence boost that if you don't have that, clients can smell it. You know, they can tell like, okay, this person doesn't actually, they're not sure that what they're saying yes to is actually going to get done, you know? And you need to be able to confidently say, yep, I can do that, right?
You know, we talked about the team guy.
No, we haven't talked about it.
You're good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's one thing. I guess, but I guess one thing being seven years almost here is, you know, just enjoying it because I really enjoy the people that I work with and I feel like I'm part of something bigger. So it's something that we take really seriously is company culture and how we think people are going to vibe with other people. And even when we have people in first 3 months, it's like, oh, yeah, this person fits right in. You just kind of feel it. Same thing with freelancers, though. It's, we like having people in that we like to work with. So.
Yeah. I mean, we'll try new people all the time. That's a big part of our interview process, just being open to different and all the things, but the people you remember when it's like, oh shit, we gotta get somebody in here. Like the first people that come to mind are the people you like. That's always going to be the case. So,
but it is like you feel like you're part of a family when you're full time. It's just you're more invested. I don't know how else to describe.
Do you feel like you're invested, like as a freelancer with the companies that you're in all the time? Or is it
sometimes, but there's times when, you know, freelance can be kind of lonely because you're not part of that unit anymore. You know, you show up, you do the job, you leave. And that's that. And you hope that you're on a machine that has everything you need, you know, because this last job that I was on last week, you know, they put me in this little room by myself. I didn't even have Helvetica, and I just needed to type Helvetica. And so, and they had to hook up everything, and we lost 3 hours just because they were hooking up everything. So you have to be a freelancer in that environment, with an ever-changing environment, you do have to be adaptable. And you do have to have that thicker skin that's like, you know how to solve situations on your own. You know how to solve your own problems, because that creative director is way the hell over there and they're totally forgot about you. So that happens. Those situations happen until you, again, like I said, find those clients. And, like I come in here and I know how everything works and I know who to talk to, and that's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good thing about somebody that's full-time is, as a creative director, you kind of develop this rhythm with them that has to do with where they're at in their own personal development. When it's a freelancer, I don't necessarily know. So we might start by being a little heavy-handed, then we might get too wide of a berth, and we're like, whoa, what have you been doing for 3 days? Like, why didn't you get me? Like, what were you struggling with this for? Like, you could have just grabbed me.
And I think as a freelancer, the onus is on you, the freelancer. Yeah. When you're on staff, especially if you're sort of at a junior level, maybe it's okay that you aren't that great at managing the project all by yourself. But as a freelancer, there's no excuse, I think, and you really there's this podcaster I love. His name is Jocko Willink. You know who he is? Yeah, and he has this book. I think it's called Extreme Ownership, and that whole idea is like everything's your fault. Just like assume it's your fault. And as a freelancer, I think you have to embrace that. Like if the client has never done an animation project before, they don't even know that they're supposed to check in with you. They just think it's going to be done perfectly because they don't know. That's your fault, right? Yeah. So I would say over communicate. If you're unsure, the worst thing that will happen is they'll say, you don't have to email me as often, right? That would be the worst case scenario. So just always like over communicate. I would say 2. Because we have a lot of our students that are making a career switch, and so this comes up all the time. And it's good that Erin's being honest. Like there's no easy way. There's not. Like if you're it's like you're in a plane and you want to get in another plane. They're just flying right next to each other. It seems right, but it's hard. So right. And you're not Jason Statham, maybe, right? So what you got to do is figure out what you can sacrifice to make it easier to do the switch. So that might mean like downsizing your life significantly, like having a lower lifestyle for a year so you have this big nut saved up in the bank so you can take 6 months to figure it out, right? And that's doable. You can definitely moonlight and get freelance clients at night while you're building up your portfolio. But like Erin said, it's very unlikely a good studio is gonna take a chance on you. And if you're just starting out, your work's probably not there yet either. But I would just embrace the fact that you're gonna have to give something up for at least 6 months, maybe a year to fully make that transition, but it's so doable. And I've seen a lot of people do it. And maybe for that year, it's Game of Thrones, what's that? But it's doable, especially if you're in a field that's next to it, like design or even architecture or something like that.
Want to learn more about freelancing in the world of motion design? Check out the Freelance Manifesto at Amazon, available in paperback or Kindle formats. And check out SarofskyLabs.com to find out when their next live session will be held. Make sure to subscribe if you like what you saw here, and thanks for watching. We'll see you for part 2.